Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So for today's video I'm going to be finishing my office tour. So if you want to see the rest of my office then just keep watching. Alright, so now we're getting to what I call the scary bit. This is all up the top and then I've got all my drawers and stuff down the bottom. I think what might be easier is to sort of start here, go up and then come down and then back up again. Yeah, I think that might be the easiest way. So we'll start down here in the drawers. As I said before, not one of the labels that are on the top of here are actually, or actually one of them or two of them might be. So this first one is what I call desk stuff. One of the least opened ones in my cupboard in my room, but it is there. It's sort of got like pens and those kind of things. So this is my first insert drawer. I have two. I've got some TA notebooks at the back. I have printed inserts, so anything that's got a theme to it. So there's some to-do ones there from Planner Piece Official at the top, but I've got like a gardening one. Anything that comes in my Planner Piece box lives there. And then these ones are all blanks. The one at the top is the last 6 months of the year in my planner, and then the rest of them are just all blanks. And it's just so I can go to that spot really easily. Second drawer down is more inserts and some jump bands for my TNs. Those ones are B6, the ones on the right, and then everything else is kind of like dashboards and those kind of big things that I do like to rotate in and out. Next drawer is tools that I use regularly enough to keep them out here, but not regularly enough to have a proper spot somewhere else. So my punch boards, my tab punch board and my envelope punch board and my crocodile all kind of live in here. And then the bottom one is one drawer that I need to do something with. It's kind of got like all pre-cut die cuts, things that I mean to go back and use and sort of colour in and use them, and I've been really bad. So, you know, they live in there. There's a couple of those. This is the second one. Oh, sitting down. Same thing, stuff that I've cut out and sometimes coloured in, sometimes not. There's some die cuts in here. You'll see they're kind of everywhere. This one's got some rub-ons, some laser cuts, some washi tape. It's got a bit of everything. This one's kind of a junk drawer. I don't mean it to be, but it kind of becomes one. This one is one of my favourites. So it's got other stamps. So when we get up the top, you'll see all my fancy schmancy ones. But these ones are all of like my Kaiser Craft ones. Basically, they're all of my standard acrylic stamps as opposed to my photopolymer ones. Also have embossing folders in here, so I've got some balloons, I've got some spots, got some stars, got some polka dots. They all live in here. There's also some old-fashioned blocky ones in the back there as well. This is my it's not my refill drawer. It's where I keep my Copic refills for now. And I also keep the double ups of my Paper Flare ink joy. Is it ink joy? I think that's what they're called. In there as well. Nothing too fancy. And then the top one's a good one. This is my embossing drawer. Hold on, so I keep in here two things. So I keep my Chibitronic stuff in here, so anything electronic lives in the back. Don't use it as often, so I kind of get away with it. And then I've got all my embossing powders. So I've got my coppers, my reds, my rose golds, my sand. There is some powder in here and then some refills for my powder tool. And then I keep my coffee filters, which is what I generally use to put to emboss over the top of. This is my cleaning and organising drawer. It's probably the second most open drawer in this office. At the back I've got plastic pockets, so I've got storage pockets from Uniquely Creative and Avery L. They're the ones I usually reach for. I've got magnetic sheets back there. Some of them are cut up already, you can see them at the bottom. I have my label maker, I have my cleaning stuff, I have some extras, I have baby wipes, and I have microfiber cloths, and I use them all the time. Do I ever clean them? Probably not. This is my adhesives drawer. Look, there's two there that are right. As you can see, I have lots and lots of refills of my dot liners. Everything that's not in use, I guess is the right word. The only thing that's in use is sort of my little foam squares, which I keep at the front, and my actual glue bottle. That lives in here, but everything else is sort of refilling of. I keep my actual glue tape up on the desk. This is my foiling drawer. There's a little bit of overflow of some adhesives at the back, but generally speaking, this is all that. I am working on a new storage system for these, because this does combine both sort of my heat activated stuff for my my plate and also stuff that you'd use with toner and the mink. So I need to kind of change them up so there's not stuff in everything. This is my embellishment drawer. I have my awesome little tiny thing of all the colours in the world, and it just makes me smile. But the good thing is it sits on top of all of these extra ones. So these are the ones I reach for all the time, but everything else is in there as well. There's glitters, there's Uniquely Creative. These ones are all of my Planners Anonymous ones from when Planners Anonymous used to do sequins and stuff, and that just makes me happy. And this is sort of my other die cut drawer. These are sort of more ones that come in packs. So I've got a bunch of Uniquely Creative ones over here. I've got some Vicky ones. There's some rub-ons in here. Laser cuts that I haven't used yet. And then it's all my sentiment strips. My sentiment strips, I wish I would use them more because I forget that they're there. I need to put them somewhere where they're a bit more accessible. But that was the point of them being down here, was that they were accessible. But anyway, that is all of those drawers. Oh, moving on up here. This is where I keep all of my stamps and dies. Now, these used to live in the drawers, and they soon became too much for the drawers. And the part that I hated the most was that the drawers didn't come out far enough to be able to, I couldn't easily access the ones that are at the back. So this is sort of the way that I've come up with. These are all those same Kmart ones that we saw over in my main cupboard. But they fit perfectly for my Avery L little stamp pockets, and I just love them. So the first three here at the top are all Lawn Fawn, A to F, G to P, or G to LMNO, L, G to O, P to S, and then T at the back. Obviously, you can see this one doesn't have as much in it, but obviously I'll move things around. This one is then my Uniquely Creative. So everything Uniquely Creative lives in that one. It's not full, but I do have an awful lot now. And then this is everything else. So this is Avery L, Concord and Ninth, Hero Arts, Darkroom Door. All those good things all live in there. I'm just going to skip this shelf because I'll come back to it. These are the same tubs, but these are my very large ones. So these are the ones that need to live sideways. So this is A to H. This is sort of still H, but H to U. Just stick them in that way. They just sit sideways instead. The same sort of direction, but obviously they're bigger. Different stamp sets and stuff all live in there. And it's actually really easy to kind of flick through this. And I actually love those ones being on the bottom because it makes it really easy to pull them up. All right, this little one in the middle, this is where my laminator used to live. So two things live here. This is that's a container that doesn't need to live there. This was something that I bought from Picture to Page a little while ago. It didn't get used this Christmas, but I will use it for next Christmas. So it's just living there so I don't forget it. I keep my Uniquely Creative cardstock here because it's the stuff I reach for most often. I just lost my Google Drive down the back, but I'll pick her up later. So it all lives in the box that it came in. It's a really bad view into it, but it's just easier for it to all be there, and then I can kind of get to it really easily. And then the other thing that lives up here is my foil. So this is all of the foil that came in this pack. This is what I bought when I bought my foiling machine. It's not all the colours. Obviously, you saw the other parts in there. But I just keep them up here. I'm debating whether I get another one of these empty cases and I put the others there, because I could fit two here, I think. Could maybe do some wiggling and fit two there. But I like them being in that case. It just makes it really easy to see. So that is where I keep all of my stamps and dies. Yes, I have too much. I'm aware. I'm very aware. I'm going to keep moving up. So if my little gimbal here will do it. I do have this little picture over here. I put the Planners Anonymous art card of whatever month we're at. That's what lives there. There we go. I got it to work. Up the top, right up the top, I have some PA boxes, special ones that I love that live up there. Those are my Overflow Paper Lovers books. Yes, that's sad. But they are there. And then I have my notepads. I keep them in those Kmart ones because it makes it easier to kind of pull them out and get to them. As you can see, there's a couple of spare ones right at the top there that I don't use. Picture of me and my friends. And then I have all of my Paper Lovers books. So these are all from Kiki K. They are one copy of each. I think I've got every Paper Lovers book they've ever released, I think. And I'm kind of proud of that. So they live there, and that's sort of what I keep them out. I need to use, like everything, I need to use them more, but I don't, but they are there. Other thing I need to use more of is my notepads, which all live at the top there. There's also some Kiki K books. The other two things that are up there, these are Kmart drawers as well. These two little ones and this big one. There's sewing stuff in the top one, and I use that a little bit for when I play with my sewing machine. But then also, you know, if I need to fix a hole in Ryan's pants or something. The second one has my wax sealing stuff. I do have some out, but that's the general gist. That next one's a bit of a junk drawer, but it's also where I keep those 6x6 plastic bags that I was showing you that I keep my paper in, paper pads in. So that lives there, and they're really easy to get at, so I like that I can get to those. The only downside is that because all those books that are sitting on top of them are so heavy, that does drop a little when the drawer's not in it, but it's easy enough to work around. Continuing down, I have my two ultimate gift wrapping books sitting over there, plus my Ultimate Papers Lovers book, which is just hiding. There's some extra, one of those is a Kmart, not a Kmart, an Officeworks one, and then some other sort of bits. All my sticker books live here. Kiki K is at the front. If I sort of did this, I don't want to actually pull it down because it's really heavy and it's really hard to put back with one hand, which thankfully I didn't have to do. But basically they're just another two, I think, of those with all my Kayla Craft and everyone else ones. These are my PA sticker books. So some of those are from the collab they did with Michael's. Other of them are the new ones that have just come out. And then I keep my two Dawn Lewis birthday books up here. I've been really loving those at the moment. And then we move down into my custom system. So this one, the second one here with the inks and the Copics, and then the one at the end, this has all been custom designed and custom built for me by Crafty Storage. I will link them down below. They are wonderful. Their prices have gone up a little bit because of, you know, the cost of living and stuff. So something to be aware of. I did get it for a lot cheaper than they're available for now. But this first one has 4 little shelves, as you can see. This one keeps all my sprays. So it's got my Kaiser sprays and my Tim Holtz ones. It's also got some Gamsol there at the back. Second shelf has some paper clips, my sprocket, my Xyron, and my mini paper trimmer. I use that all the time. I actually also use the little bit of storage space that's in between these two. I used to keep, these are my turnabout jigs from Concord and Ninth for when I use my turnabout stamps. I used to keep them here, but then they kept falling out, kept making a mess. And I realized that they fit nicely under there. So no one can see it. I can see it, but no one else can. And I love that they sit there. This has all of my swatch blends on my memory decks. I used to have that out and proud. I like it sitting in there. I think it's really cool. And then I've got sort of spare notebooks, sticker books, watercolor paper, so just general things that need to sit up. And then I've got this little stand here. This actually came from Kmart, Coles, some really weird place. And I didn't do it to fit, didn't make this to fit that. It just magically did. So I keep all my pens in there. And then Ryan has made me, in the back, they're custom little pen cups that he made me using the 3D printer. So that they would fit behind there. Most of those pens I don't use on a regular basis, but they are there for me if I need them. All right, continuing down into the drawers. These are two of my favourite spots in the whole room because I just love that reveal of that colour. These are all my Distress Ink mini cubes. I only buy the mini cubes of the Distress Ink for 2 reasons. Number one, I don't have enough room. I say I don't have enough room. I do, but I don't have enough room to keep the big ink pads for the ink and the oxides, and because the oxides only come in the big, I'm kind of limited. But I do love having the Distress Inks as well, so they all live in there. And the second one is the Overflow. So there's a little bit too much of the Distress Ink to fit in one drawer. But then I also keep my little mini ink cubes that I get from Hero Arts, from Lawn Fawn. I'm keeping my archival inks in here. I'm actually having fun with the archivals. And also my Stays On and, you know, anything else that comes along, that all lives in there. This then is my large tools drawer, and I'm just being careful with it because it doesn't sit in there as nicely as the others. and it does tend to fall out. But in here I have my rulers. So I've got my steel ruler, I've got my T ruler, I've got my Misty Creative Corners live in there. All my acrylic blocks live in there. My pads for my mini die cut machine live in there. And also my ruler for my glass mat. That all lives there. So that's my big kind of tools box that are thin. Then there's 4 drawers down here at the bottom. 4 drawers that I don't use particularly often, but they are here. I keep all of my ink daubers, is that what they're called? I don't even know. Blending tools or whatever they are in here. Some of them are oxides. These ones, some of them are inks. And I keep them separate so that I don't mix them up. But they all live in there. There's a couple of tools in there as well. This is sort of my overflow tool drawer, so it's things I don't use all the time. My spatulas live in here. Oh, that's really bent. Spatulas, extra blending tools, pipettes, all those kind of things. They all live in that one. This one has my overflow of inks plus a little bit of some glitter paste at the back. So I keep my Lawn Fawn inks in here. Whoops, I do that every time. I also have a couple too many tubes of glitter stuff that I need to find a new home for, but I keep that all in there. It doesn't like to close, but it does. And then this one has sort of pastes, more glitters. They shouldn't be there, but they are. I need to put them where they actually live. A couple of re-inkers and things in there as well. So sort of not a junk drawer by any stretch, but it is a drawer that needs organising. Before I move on to this next bit, I just want to show you this little spot in between. When I measured all of this, I did measure it right, but when you get over to the computer, I had originally had that a little bit closer and this gap was filled up. But what I actually found was it was a really great place to keep stuff like my mini cutting mat, my Misty, my scoreboard, my stick and stamp mat. It fits beautifully in there and it's easily accessible, which for me is kind of the be all and end all. Accessibility trumps prettiness sometimes. So I like the fact that it's just right there. I can grab it and go. And it just really helps. Now you will see there are different things on my desk sort of as we move along here. I have my girls trip kit out because I was using it. So it is still on my desk. I do like to leave things on my desk. It is very rarely clean in here. This is actually probably as clean as it gets. So these next two sort of bits, I'm sort of coming back so you can see as much of it as possible, are probably my 2 favourite spots in the room. The one on the left is custom designed for the Distress Oxides. The thing at the top, this is like the turnabouts, is all my swatches. That's got my ink swatches, my oxide swatches, and my Copic hex chart all live up there. This is full at the moment, but those 4 at the bottom don't need to live there. They're just ones I reach for all the time. When the next Distress Oxide colour comes out, which will probably be in, March, because we've just had one. Yay for Lost Shadow. I will find new places for them to live. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I will. Next one over, and I'm going to come back down to the washi tape. Next one over, I have all my Tombos at the top and all my Copics in the middle or in the other bits, and they're cut into colour families. So you can see the BVs take up the first 2, then the Vs, and the RVs, and then the Rs. It's just... If I'm ever sitting in here and I feel sad, I just look at that wall and it just makes me happy. Makes me happy for 2 reasons. Number one, I'm a completionist and it is now complete. So, you know, that makes me happy. But I just love looking at all the colours. They just make me really happy. And then while we're here, we're going to come over to the next one. I keep all my blending brushes in here. This is one that I need to revisit. I'm in the process of revisiting it. I want to fill the whole thing with more of those Make It by Marco tubs and get rid of my spinners. Not because I don't love my spinners, because I do, but they're not an effective use of space up there. So what I want to do is fill that whole section with Make It by Marcos, and that might be then where I move my ink pads, or we'll find a way to sort of reuse that space. But for now, they're working really fine. This top drawer used to be my tools drawer. It's now kind of... It's not tools that I don't use very often, which are the ones that live over there on the left. it's kind of the next step up before stuff I use every day. So it's kind of excess craft knives. There's my second pair of no holding scissors, extra hole punches, those kind of things. And then this is kind of is the cleaning drawer. This one doesn't sit in on its own, it slides out really easily, so I kind of like to keep it closed. So it's got some cleaning supplies, acetone, those kind of things that I don't want to keep out and accessible, because you'll see the others in a minute. The other thing that stays there is that post-it note that's got for when I'm doing my my storage, how much I need to cut things to. That second one with the punches needs to go because that doesn't exist anymore. Okay, down the bottom here, I have my washi tape collection. These are what I call my everyday washi tapes. They're the ones that I reach for on a regular basis. The other ones are specials. Ignore the annoying cord that comes out. So I have them cut up. I have them separated into families. So top left, as much as possible, the colours actually do work. The little knobs are from the Organised Flock. Unfortunately, she's not open anymore, but they are so, so cute. So at the front here, I've got Mr. Moo's Tickled and mine. So the ones that I made with Hobby Hoppers and the ones from Desley Jane Plans. I have Tickle Pink all back there. I have Fox and Cactus in the second drawer. And then these ones, this is when I start moving into colours. So these are what I like to call multicoloured. Things that doesn't matter what I do, I can't really make them fit into a colour family of their own. So they live in that one. And then I have blue, because you know I love blue. This is what it's sad. Pink, and pink. I don't know why I've got so much pink. I think they just make pink washi tape a lot. And then purple at the back. Greens. I love greens. Greys, or monotones as I like to call them, will live in that one. And then we have browns, reds, yellows, oranges, rose golds, silvers, and gold. Not quite working with all the buttons that are on the front, but as a general rule, they work pretty well. And those are the Deflecto drawers, the same ones that I showed you that all my PA ones live in. Okay, moving up from that, we're now up on the top cupboards. So I'll start right at the top. I'm trying to sort of not get the camera in the shot. So that's where my camera lives, in case anyone ever wants to know how I do this. So this is me sitting in my chair. This is the look that I kind of get when I'm sitting in here. I get this. When you look up and you look over there, I have two big light boxes that live up there. And generally speaking, I have my top camera that looks straight down. And that's how I film all of my videos, basically. Except this one, because this one's on my iPhone. At the top there, I have my PA kits. Now, they used to live on the other side, but they also always used to get stuck on the light box when I was pulling them down. They still get stuck, but not as badly as they used to. So they all live in zip-up bags dedicated to kit. They used to also live in boxes. The problem that I've got is that the new plastic pockets that I have purchased from Officeworks are slightly bigger than the old ones I used to get from the reject shop, and they don't fit into the boxes. So I used to have them in like magazine files that used to, like, hold on, I'm just gonna move you around here. Like these, I used to have them in magazine files like those, and they used to be able to have a label on them and I could, you know, tell what was in them. Now I kind of have to do a bit more of the pulling apart. I do have them separated by year, which does help me a little bit, but they are all up there. I'll come back to that side. This one over here is where I keep all of my cards. So the two on the left are cards that I've made. We've got general, we've got Christmas, we've got, hold on, let's have a good look. Let's do it properly. So these ones are general ones. That one was just one that I had sitting out. So just all ones that I've made, whether they've been for design teams or just for fun, they're all in there. And then I've got an overflow of Christmassy ones at the back. Whoops. And these are all in the Kmart boxes as well. Those ones need to be sorted. But then I have birthday ones. Whoopsies, come on. I have birthdays. I have thank you cards. And I have thinking of you cards. And then I've got a congratulations one at the back. I'm in the process very slowly of working through here and putting them all in plastic pockets so that they're protected. I've just been really bad at it and been doing other stuff for now, but that's all where they live. And then this is my upgrade, on the box that Dawn made for the big birthday box. I decided I wanted mine to sit in its own box that matched everything else. So I just took the sticker off the front, laminated it and stuck it on here. It's got the dividers in there. They're just not being used right now because I have sent out all of my cards for February, which I'm very proud of myself. They're all gone. And March. My cards for all of March are gone too. So I don't have anything in there right now, which makes me happy. The second one here has my Washi, 2 washi tape ones. The washi tape ones have metal discs and have frosted fronts. This is the redo, and I call it the redo because I had to completely, not throw away. This was my original stamp storage system, stamp catalog system for all of my lawn fawn. I'm just redoing it because I needed, it didn't, can you see how nothing lines up? It doesn't flip and it makes it hard to go through. So I'm redoing it. I'm just doing it really slowly. And then you have the original ones living here. Then I've got all of my die cutting plates. They all live in here in this little paper envelope. Not paper envelope, letter holding kind of thing. I have my Big Shot that lives up here. I find it really easy to pick it up and drop it, like pick it up and put it up the top, as opposed to it living underneath. I don't know why. Little mini sewing machine that I got for Christmas. Not using it as much as I should, but it is there. And then I've got my overflow of planners because the rest of them live in this corner over here. But that's the overflow because at the moment I have too many. There's also, you know, some bits and bobs and messy stuff around the place. While we're talking about it, let's keep going. We've got planners at the top. We've got planners at the bottom. We've got planners everywhere. There's also my Flow Paper Lovers books. These things here. Don't use them as much as I should. Really need to. Really need to. This actually kind of has become one of my favourite ones. So the top there I have some more of the Deflecto shelves. Very short story. When I purchased some a little while ago, they actually broke on the way. They've just got chips in the corner. So I didn't want them in any of the ones that are on display. But for keeping my extra Staedtler pens, which I have far too many, they're really good. So they live in there. Those 4 folders there that have the names on them are my stencil storage. Cricut made, really simple. Stuff from Uniquely Creative, stuff from everybody. So that's got Pink Fresh, Hero Arts, I'm trying to think what else, Concord Nights in there. And then I have a whole one for my lawn fawn. This is my art journal. I really need to find a better way or a way to put something on the spine so I know that. But that's my art journal. These are all the cards that I've ever done for the Uniquely Creative design team. And then this is where I keep my stuff for Dawn's Copic sub box. I keep all of my bits in there so that they're all in together. Coming down on the, actually both of those there, I've got PA at the back, which has just got some overflow stuff. It's got some like pockets and stuff from Planners Anonymous that I want to be able to have easy access to, but I don't need to be out on display. The 2 boxes at the front have all my photos in them. So I like to print a lot of photos and keep them here, and some of them are of, you know, holiday snaps. Some of them are of Charlotte, but they're all there. And then I've got my colour cubes next to that. And then these 3 boxes are, they're kind of funny. These are like my background boxes. So this has got all the backgrounds in it. I've had to put a rubber band around it. This has got my die cuts. And that used to be my mailbox, but it's probably going to be my overflow of background boxes. I just haven't got back to filling it up yet, but they all live there. Now I've got to put this one back, so I've got to put the camera down. No, I don't. The straws are a funny kind of thing. When I was making my own memory decks box once, I tried to use straws instead of dowel, and it worked. It just didn't work enough. And then moving over to the last set of shelves here, have my NDIS folder for Charlotte at the top. I have my 2 December daily albums, my packing crate, so when I go away that sort of folds out so I can carry stuff in it, notepads, and then all of, notebooks, my Hobonichi folders there, and then those are all of my beautiful Planners Anonymous melodies and traveler's notebooks. I love that they're on display. They just make me happy. I wish I could put them in more places, but they all live there for now. At the top, I have a bunch of magazine fires that aren't being used, but they're too good to throw away. And then I do have around here a little whiteboard. I don't tend to use it for anything important, but it is there and it is magnetic and I can sort of pin things to it. So if I need something, if we've been to see Charlotte's physio and I need to put that receipt there, that lives on there for now. Oh, I was about to say last but not least, but that's not true because I still have this whole set of drawers down here. I am trying to go fast and I know I'm talking fast. I feel pooped, but anyway. So I have my computer screen sitting there. My iMac did die a while ago. So rather than replacing it, we just got me a screen and it just plugs into my laptop. I can have 2 screens if I want them. Down here, I love this little setup. It's very cool. So these are little pen cubbies that I got I bought mine off AliExpress. I think one of them I got from Mint My Desk, but you know, let's go with, I got them from AliExpress. So I have 5 fit there beautifully. The ones on the left keep my, what are they called? Fine liners, my Copic fine liners, my highlighters, and then my favorite pens. They live in here and I love them. I have a postcard there that rotates. I kind of pick one up and change it all the time. These little drawers are fabulous. I love these. So I got these from Shine. I try to avoid Shine as much as possible, but for this they were absolutely like fabulous. So in here, that one's broken, but that's okay. No, it's not. In here I keep a couple of things. So I keep little sticky notes in here. These are generally my Clear May Paper Co ones. They live in there. I have extra little mini ones there from Tender Designs. I have all of my Memo Me ones that I use in my social media planner. I have 2 of those because I do like to buy a lot. I buy those from AliExpress as well because it's easier. Whoops. I keep money in here. I keep 5-cent pieces in here because I use them when I'm doing moving cards that require some kind of weight. I use 5-cent pieces for that. So every time I get a 5-cent piece, I bring it and I leave it in here. That one's got some more overflow of those Memo Me's, and this bottom one here has my favorite things. They're called replenishments, but they're basically the little mini things that help things move as opposed to having to use foam dots. I love these things for anything that moves. They're just so great. I just adore them. So they live in there so I don't forget. I keep all of my fine liners in here. I keep 1 of each color, which is why the rest of them live up above our heads. So you got monotones, reds, pinks, etc., etc. The washi at the bottom is washi tape that I can use with my die cuts, and that's what some of these are over here as well, but I'll get to that in just a second. And then my Copic Opaque White lives in the front. That actually is a glue holder. It's by Make It by Marco, but I use it for my Opaque White just because it sits in there really nicely. Then we have my very, very lovely and very, very messy and constantly changing pegboard from Ikea. So this changes every week. I want to say it doesn't, but there are a few things that if I did this whole office again, I would change, and my pegboard is one of them. When we put it together, we didn't realize that if we had butted them up against each other, we could have actually sort of moved the space, and it doesn't matter what we do, we can't get it to sort of move anymore. So anyway, so at the back there, I have my paper tape. I use that for transfer tape. I use it for masking. It's just the best tape ever. The one that has all the rings on it is all of my swatches. That's got my inks and my oxides. The messy one there is all of my sticker paper backing sheets. I keep them all and I stick them on this little ring. And basically, whenever I'm playing with stickers or I need to do something where I need to cut something or do something like that, I just rip one off. And then I can throw it away, and then at least then it's got used again. I have my brayers. I've got my big ones and my little ones live there. And then this is what I like to call my tape station. So I keep my in-use tapes. The ones that aren't in use live in the drawer like we saw. But this has got foam tape, double-sided tape, super tape, all those kind of things. They all live there. I'm just going to move my calendar over because my calendar lives here. But then this is a bit of a squishy spot, so you just have to forgive me for it being not quite, beautifully displayed like everything else. But down here I have, this is my overflow of washi tape. That's really bad, but it's the stuff that I don't want to put in the drawer. I use it often enough that I'd like it to be out, which is why it lives in these cute little mini stands that I got from that are organised flock. Same people that made my washi drawers, or my washi drawer holders. Sadly out of stock now, sort of out of business now, but they are fabulous. So one keeps my marshmallow, one keeps stuff I use on a regular basis. The other one's got some sort of extra overflow stuff there from Bloomsicle. Once More with Love, they all kind of live there. And then this one here, it's designed to spin, and it can spin if I pull it out a little bit, but it's kind of too big to do that. So this is what I use. This is all my tools that I use all the time. So the cup on the left has like my tea ruler, my craft knife, my, not bone folders, but my scoring tools, my spatulas, all those kind of things live in that cup. At the back are my Crayola markers, and they're there so that Charlotte can use them. Charlotte hasn't sort of got old enough yet to do that, but they are there. For that reason, I have paintbrushes and scissors in this one, and then this little teacup at the front has my water brush and has all of my tweezers. And then in between, I have my powder tool, my glue tape, my corner rounder, erasers, and then my stamping tool there at the side. Moving up and a bit back to the left, I keep paper towel here. Paper towel is always in my office. I use it all the time. I used to use tissues. Tissues work fine, but, you know, paper towel is much more absorbent. I have 2 distress sprayers in there. One is clear water at the front. The one at the back has clear water and perfect pearls. Yes, I have been corrupted by Jennifer Maguire, and I use those all the time. Next one up, I have my wax seal. So I've got the actual sort of heating mechanism over there, and then sort of containers of the wax seals here. I do keep a hole punch there too. This kind of hides some photos and stuff that are in behind there. It's not doing it on purpose, but this cool thing is used to put, like if I'm doing glitter or playing with embellishments that I don't want to make a mess, they kind of live there. And then just in here, I have cute pictures of Charlotte. I keep my, what's it called? My Sprocket print paper, my Motex, and then alcohol swabs. This is also bits of acetate that when I was cutting some stencils, I didn't use. These are the offcuts from in the middle of the stencil, and rather than throwing it away, I kept them and I use them when I do sort of dangly bits on cards, so they live up there as well. Okay, continuing to move, I have some Cricut tools there. I have my spatula, I have my scoring tool, they live there. I have all my bottles and drops and gels kind of live at the top there. I am waiting for Ryan to be able to make me some little shelves so that I can put those on like a stepping kind of thing so I can see what's there. But I've got my Nuvo drops on the left. I've got some gels on the left behind those. I do have my glasses cleaner in here because I need that on a constant basis. I've got my Distress ink re-inkers in there. I've got, what are they called? Stickles and those kind of things there. I've got some hand creams, generally stuff that I've got from Planner Piece. I have my chill pills, which is really just a thing of Skittles, which as you can see are nearly empty. And then moving down to the next one, this sort of one is a bit of nothing. There's not really too much here. It's just more prettiness than anything else. I do keep magnets and things at the front, stuff from, or bags from my little mini bin. And then I keep droppers of stuff here. So I have droppers of Undo. I have droppers of, what's that one? Eucalyptus oil for cleaning, water, alcohol, and then Undo. What's that one then? Oh, isopropyl alcohol. That's when I use clean my Copics. At the back there, I have my Perfect Pearls and my rock candy. And I'm currently holding some Lost Shadow Oxide for Denise from Luscious Labels. I've got some pins and things there which make everything look pretty, and a spare charger because you always need that. These are the pens that I kind of come to a lot. So the ones on my left are the Papermate Flares. I have all of the colours of those. All my jelly rolls are in the middle, and these 2 cups are stuff that I've made with my Cricut. This one's just from Kmart, but I keep my Sakuras in there. watercolor pencils from Uniquely Creative live in here, lead pencils, Cricut pens, and then extra undo isopropyl alcohol, eucalyptus oil, and then my pixie spray. On the front, I keep these little magnetic bowls. They live there because it's sort of easy to grab hold of them. But you'll see on this one, they're great for paper clips. They're great for dies that I've been using on a regular basis, or dies that I have lost. I don't know what that belongs to. So it just lives there until such time as I find where it lives. This little thing is like a tripod and a light for my camera, for when I am doing Zooms and stuff. That kind of lives there. I'm going to put this one back because it was just out. I keep cotton buds, pegs, discs, paper clips, wobblers, erasers, junk, die cuts, sewing stuff, back scratcher, and then pins and stuff on the side. Also keep tissues in here because I always need tissues. I tend to have colds more often than I'd like. So they live there. But that's generally everything that lives on my desk and that wall. So the only thing left to show you now is just these last couple of drawers, which are all really messy. But, you know, let's go for it. So the first one at the top here is what I like to call my power and punch drawer. So it's everything, basically, that has power attached to it. So my heat tool, which stays plugged in at all times. And I just make sure that the cord comes through this front here so it doesn't get stuck. My foiling press lives at the back, and then I've got my Memory Dex punch, my Happy Planner punch, and my Kiki K 6-hole punch all live in there. And I just make sure that shuts. Second drawer here is notepads. It is messy, I'm not going to lie. I just chuck everything in here. Most of these are Chasing Planner Piece ones. I do love their notepads, so they all live in there. Sticky notes. I love clear sticky notes at the moment. I think they're the best. Drawer full of stuff I don't need. Box quote cards, they're all the old Kiki K ones. They all live there. And then this one probably won't open because my mat's in the way. It rolls away a lot. There we go. They're all quote cards that don't have boxes. So the kind of ones that used to come in the vision board kits and stuff, they all live in there. They've got their own little box. Again, one of those things that I know I need to either use or get rid of, but I'm really bad at that. I'm going to skip this big one and just do this side, and then we'll come back to the big one. So the one at the top's a little bit like the one on the right on the other side. It's a bit of my junk drawer. It's just stuff that I haven't had time to put away yet. Ridiculously, I don't have a stapler in here other than here. So it just tends to live here because Ryan uses it too, so he can get to it quick. Paints live in here. All of my favourite paints. I've also got my foam at the back, palettes, all the things that I use, watercolour paints, whatever it is. Worst drawer in my office. Worst drawer for two reasons. Number one, it's always a mess. Number two, can't keep it clean. And number three, Charlotte thinks it's the most fun drawer to stick her hand in and pull stuff out. Hence why it can't stay clean. Drawer four. What are we going to call this? Let's call it the cord overflow mess drawer. And then we have an basically empty kind of junk drawer down there at the bottom. This sort of one, I need to do something with the paint, but basically doesn't get used other than the paint and the ribbons. All right, last but not least in here, and I'm just moving my chair back so I can sit down. I have my rolling set of the Alex 6 drawers. Number one, I love that it's got this space because I keep my glass mat here. So when I'm not using it, it lives in here. Really easy to grab out, pull out, put back. It's all good. I'm going to start from the bottom and come up. You're not allowed to judge me on this one because this is a work, like it's obviously I work in here, but this kind of feels like the working part of my office. It gets a lot of work. So the one at the bottom is my tools. So I keep my 12x12 cutter, my station, and my gel presses in here. I also keep my Derwents, not that they get used a lot, but they are there. This next drawer is my cardstock drawer. So I keep my awesome paper stock cardstock in here, and then sort of bunches of coloured cardstock. This is sort of stuff, it's sort of like the second stuff if I need like a full sheet. I usually go straight for my Uniquely Creative, but these are sort of like the next bit. coloured paper. Some of it's actually better than paper. It's sort of a little bit somewhere between cardstock and paper. But it's generally paper. Definitely not going to be making a card front out of this. So that all lives there. I've also got my mixed media paper that I use for my art journaling, lives in this one. Then we go to our, what's it called? And actually I need to put something back in here because I want to sort of show that too. So all my envelopes here live in here for mailing. I've obviously got regular ones, standard size ones, all my coloured ones. I love my coloured ones. They're making me really happy at the moment. And I have them both square and sort of regular size. The square ones got from Amazon. The rectangle ones I got from Paper Stop. I've got pre-folded card bases, black ones at the back. And then this cutie, I love these little zip-up bags. This is what I call my mailer. So I've got my Made by Ash stickers. I've got stamps. I've got return address labels. They all live in there, so when it is time to send cards, I just grab that and go nuts. These two drawers are bad. No judging me. First one keeps my paper trimmer in it because it's just easy to grab at, plus this drawer is never full. The other stuff that's in here is sort of black cardstock, acetate, vellum, stuff that's basically not white. That red bit should not be in there. That should be in the paper down the bottom. But it's sort of, yeah, generally paper that, or stuff that I should have put away in my storage in the cupboard, but that instead I want them close by, so I tend to leave them there. And this is the worst one. It is just a drawer full of white paper. Now, it's actually not white paper. Some of it's white paper, some of it's white cardstock, some of it's white Express It card, some of it's die cut, some of it's not, some of it's dirty, some of it's messy, some of it's clean, some of it's wonderful. But it's all there and it's in different shapes, sizes. I need to organise the whole thing. I don't know how I do that yet. I'm still working on it. I just chuck scraps in there. If I know I've got a piece of white cardstock, I need a piece of white cardstock, I go here first. And I can touch them and I can tell the difference. So I know that piece is a, that's a bit of paper stock, cardstock. This is obviously paper. I can tell the difference between my quill. I can hold Express It cardstock and know that that's that too. So I'm okay with it, but it is messy. It is messy. And then that's it. That's my room. I'm just going to stand up, which is a bit harder. But that's my room. It is very rarely this tidy. And even then, you know, this isn't perfectly tidy. I don't like to keep it tidy because I feel like if it's tidy, I haven't been using it. But yeah, usually it's an absolute mess. But there we have it. If there's anything in here that you'd like more information on, or you'd like me to show you in more detail, I know it's been a long video, I know, but it's been also kind of, I have flown through a lot of it. So if there is something you would like more information on, please let me know. You can leave it down below, of course, any of my socials. I think the number one thing I'd like everyone to take out of a video like this is that this room doesn't ever stay the same. It changes on a almost weekly basis. Something will come in, something will move, something will change. The only things basically that have stayed the same for a long period of time now are these, and that's because obviously I had them custom made. But I also had them, it took me a really long time to design them. It took me a really long time to get what I wanted or know what I wanted. And even then, sometimes I sit there and I go, okay, well, these are about to be full because we're about to run out of oxide. So do I need to get a whole other set of those? How would I do that? Where would I put it? How do I change it? And the good things is these are modular, so I can wiggle these around and add more if I needed to. I could move the Copics out and put them somewhere else and put another thing of oxides in there instead. So, you know, there are ways around things. But sort of sit in your space, be in your space for a while. I think I was in here for about a year before we got the customs. Work with what you've got. Find Kmart. Go find Kmart. They've got the best plastic containers, they really do. And they're inexpensive. They're easy to find. And if you break one, you can just walk around and get another one. But don't stress too much about having to have the perfect storage system or the perfect setup. Find something that works for you, run with it, and just enjoy crafting more than you enjoy, you know, putting it all away. I hope you have enjoyed this one, guys. Please give it a thumbs up if you had. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!